External Consist Editor 10.0 has officially been released, and we're checking it out today. So you'll notice it comes with a really nice user guide here, and we're going to go through it and check out all the features and see if we can put it to use a little bit. So the first thing here on page 2, automatic downloads. Whenever ECE is opened, it'll automatically check for a new version and offer it to the user. Although you may decline the update, it's strongly recommended to always choose to accept and install the newest version of ECE. Previous versions of ECE required it to be opened in administrator mode for some features to work. This is important. ECE 10 does not require this, and he says it's actually recommended not to run it in administrator mode, or some features may not work. So make sure if you were running in administrator mode, now with this new one, don't do it anymore. So the next thing here is custom rail vehicle images, and users can use their own images of rail vehicles if they want. And this is pretty neat because if you have, if you're on Discord and you download updated skins, that a lot of the users make custom skins for the boxcars and locomotives or all freight cars, then it's not going to match what pops up when you're doing the making a train here in the external consist editor. So this allows you, like if you changed one, and a lot of people make one of the locomotives, I think the Trona one, they make it into an RJ Corman or stuff like that. You can change the picture here, and then that way it'll show you what it actually is in your specific game. And you just have to make sure that the file name matches exactly. It ends in .png, and the resolution is recommended to be 500 by 281. And then what you would do is you'd open up your rail coder. So you go to program, or wherever you install it, should be on the C drive under program files, rail coder, external consist editor. And then you go in the external consist editor folder under custom RV images here. And then here's a little instruction picture. And then I just made one real quick. I didn't do a good job here. I just made it the 500 by 281. It's zoomed in a bit, but just to show you how it works, I did this. So I currently have the file name wrong on purpose so that it doesn't pop up in here. So now in the external consist editor, this is BNSF02 right here, this one. So if I hover over, this is going to show me the default. That's what you get in the game when you buy it. And you can see at the top of that photo, it says default skin from Railcoder. And then you want to make sure you have custom RV images highlighted down here or checked, this checkbox. So now if I go into this folder I was just in, and this needs to be a 2 instead of a 5. So now this file name matches exactly what's in the ECE. Now if I come back here and I hover over it, watch this. Now it shows, and it says custom RV image in the top right. And it shows the photo that I added. So obviously you wouldn't likely do it this zoomed in, but I'm just showing you how you can just put your own photos in there to represent any of the mods that you've done, which is really cool. All right, so now let's try adding some rail vehicles. And he says there's 4 different ways to filter the available rail vehicles. So you got the unit type, which is right up here, and you could obviously pick the type of locomotive or freight car you want. Open hoppers, here's all the open hoppers. We can do industry config type, so that's over here. And you've got, maybe they take tank cars, and this is going to give you all the tank cars. So you could do by add-on pack here, and these are all the ones that you buy from the Run8 website. So if we wanted to see what's in SD40-2 pack number 4, click that, and it's these 4 SD40-2s. Or you can do the Smart Search text box, which is right here. And you can filter by file name, car code, common name, add-on pack, industry config, or road initial. So in the example, he says if you type DTTX, then you get all of the DTTX well cars here. And if I type in double, then these are all double stack intermodal cars. If I hover over this, you can see it's a double stack. So you can type, let's see, let's try like tank. And can I do 105, space 105? And there you go. Now that's only the 105 tanks. And that's cool because I put a space here, but in the file name it doesn't have a space, but it still did it right. So that's awesome. Let's see, even if I just do 105, it should bring up, yeah, there's that. If I do 104, here's the 104 tanks, 107 tanks. So that's nice. So one just very minor issue that I noticed is if you do a search here, like if I do boxcars, and then I go to say like add-on pack, I want to look at these. Well, I've got boxcars in there, and then I click on gondola. It shows them for a second, and then disappears. And you have to click something else, kind of resets it, and then you can go back to gondolas, and then the gondolas are there. So for whatever reason, if you have something in the search here, like you're looking at tank cars, and then you click any of these, it'll show for a second and disappear. Let's try it with, if I do by ballast hoppers, same thing. Yeah, it shows it for a second, disappears. So there's something weird tied with the search here. But I mean, a very minor issue. So once we find what we want to add to the consist, now there's a few ways that you can add them. So I've got tank cars here, and we can just drag and drop. So if I want a 104 UTLX, drag it in there, 105 acid, 105 UTLX, you just do that. I can use the arrow keys. So if I wanted to go with a 107 Gaddix, make sure it's blue here. And then if I hit the right arrow key, it'll add it, and I could keep tapping. Or I can just hold it down, and it's just going to keep cranking them in there. And then if I wanted to delete those, I can hit the left arrow key, and you see it turns red, and then it disappears. And then red, disappears. And then if I hold the left arrow key, I can delete a whole bunch at once. And it always starts from the back and then works up. Let's clear this out of here. If I want to bulk add all the same car to make a big unit train, and I wanted this one, I could hold shift and use my scroll wheel on the mouse, and I could bring this up to 50, 6, 7, let's go 70. So 70 cars. And now I got to click and drag it in, and I've got 70 of that identical car that quickly. So that's really nice. Quick way to build a big unit train. But just note that you can only do that with one car. You can't highlight 3 cars and add 50 of those 3. That won't work. It'll only work if you have one car highlighted. So now let's take a look at the Stored Consist tab up here. And it says the Stored Consist tab allows you to load an existing train file that you can use to move cars to the new consist. The Stored Consist tab cannot be modified in any way, as it's designed to only copy rail vehicles from it to the train consist. So you can grab like this LS917J file I got. This was a train I used for the local job. And I can grab just this one if I want. Or maybe I just wanted all of, let's see, that says type. Oh, can I change? If I go to settings, car code, that only does it in the consist here, not in the stored consist. Okay, so if I want to grab all of these refrigerator units, let's say, I can select them all and just drag them right in there. Or I want to come down and get these tanks that have a hazmat, select them all, but I hold shift. So I click the first one, then hold shift, click the last one, and then just drag them wherever I want. I could put them right here after the third one, and they're going to jump right in there. But it's not going to mess up my train file here on the left, which is nice. You don't worry about messing this up. If you drag cars in, you can't drag cars into this, and you can only drag them out over here, but it's not going to delete them from this left column here. So you're not going to mess up your saved train files that you're pulling from. I could close that. Now I got those cars over here to build a new train. And my original file that I used over here is still untouched, unmodified. So now let's take a look at key functionalities of the train consist. So you've got your type column, and that displays the type, the common name, or file name. And that can be changed here in settings, and you got these three options. So if I go to type column car code, you're going to see it switches to the car code or the common name or the file name. So I usually just leave it on common name, but you can change it up here in settings. Then you're going to get an up or down triangle. That shows obviously if it's facing forward, or if I right click, it'll put it down. So it means it's backwards. If I right click again, it goes back to forwards. I can hold shift and highlight all three and then right click, and that changes all three forwards or backwards. And then on the type column, if I hover over any of these, like hover over this tank, it's going to pop up a picture of what that tank looks like. If I add in a few locomotives here to the front of this consist, and then I can isolate or simulate isolate, and they won't be isolated when you load this train into the game, but to simulate for weight purposes when you're building a train, you can hold down Alt and then double click it, and now it's isolated. You can see now that triangle just turned red. So it's not going to, or it's going to calculate this weight. But that's also based on a setting as well in here. So you could do not calculate any locos for tons, calculate only isolated locomotives for tons, or calculate all of them, whether they're isolated or not. So I have it on only isolated. So because we just isolated this one, now the tons, see it says 3158 at the top. And if I hold Alt and double click again, now it's no longer isolated, so it's not being included in the total tons up here. If I do it again, Alt, double click, now it's included again. So I just opened up a different train file, and let's take a look at the tag column. So if I wanted to, this is just like the old one, if I wanted to change this text, I could just double click, type something new in there. Then it says you can also modify the tags of multiple rail vehicles at the same time. So that's like the old system too, I believe. But I think there might be an issue with the instructions here. So in the instructions, it says to hold shift or control. So you'd hold control if you wanted to highlight a bunch of random ones like this. Say I got 4 random ones. Or if you wanted to highlight a chunk, you would just hold shift. Like if I wanted to change all of these Kern steel, I could hold shift, click, just like any other selection, hold shift, click the first one, then click the first one, hold shift, then click the last one. But then it says, after you do that, it says then double clicking, it says double click the tag text. But if I do that while I got these 3 selected, say I double click this one, it just selects that one. If I do it again and just like I try to double click, it doesn't work. What you have to do is select all 3 and then just start typing. And I think that's how the old one worked as well. So if I just type in new tag, now all 3 change to new tag. And if I don't want that to confirm it, I could hit escape and it puts them back to Kern steel. And if I wanted it to be new tag, and then I just hit enter, and now they're in there as new tag. So the only header up here that is blue is tag. See how these are grayed out? So that means you can't do any clicking on these. You can't sort by these, but you can sort by the tag. So if I click tag, now it's going to be ascending. So it's going to be, starts with 84 lumber and goes A to Z. And then if I click it again, it's going to reverse it, and it's going to start with the S's, and it's going to put the A's and the numbers way down here. So now that I switched it, you can see the little asterisk up here, which means there's been a change. And now I could save it, or I can do a save as and save it in this new order. So this is a great way I like to do this. I like to sort the train in many instances by the tag alphabetically. All right, and then over here under the weight column, you have your weight slider, so you can just change the weight of the car from 0. You could just move it all the way up to 92 for this coil car is the max. And if I wanted to do 3 at a time, I could do that. It looks like it resets one, so they all match. So like if I had this one up here, like I just did, and then I select all 3 and drag this one, see how they just match? So that way they're all the same. So you can just do that to change the weights. And then over here, you got this great hazmat. So if I click on the hazmat, then I get the pop-up that shows all the different choices. So I can go hydrogen peroxide, and then these three are going to have to come in with that hazmat placard. That's one feature I really like. Another really neat thing here is that you can move columns, and I don't think you could do that before. So if I wanted to have, let's say, the hazmat over here, I could click and drag it. Look at that. And then I got hazmat, and I can resize it. And now I got my hazmat info right here. So that's really neat. If I wanted axles over here, I could move axles. I think that's definitely new for this ECE 10 version. And then when you reset, if I close this down and then reopen it, then it's going to reset those columns back to the default. So now I've closed it, reopened it, and now you can see everything's back to the default location. Then you've got your selected totals, and that's going to be at the bottom. So you don't see it right now. It's going to come down here. But let's say I want to see these center beams for 84 lumber. If I click 1, now you've got selected, and you got one load, and here's the tons and the length of just that one. And if I click these, all of them, then I get the total tons and length for this block. If I wanted to add these from Suncoast, I can do that. And so it's a quick way to see exactly like how many cars and the weights and length of a specific block. Let's take a look at the train consist menu buttons. So we've got file. If I click file, it hides it. And if I click it again, it brings a second layer here of options. And I've got open, which you would use that pops up your folders or your browser so you can find your trains that you've saved. And then you've got your region select here. So here's all the different regions. And that shows the current region the train file will save as. And then you can click to change which region it'll save as. And then you've got, let's see if I open up this one, then I've got a save as here. If I want to save it as this train as a different name or just save to overwrite. And then the file path name, file path or file name. And that shows the file name of the full path of the currently loaded train. And that you can change in the settings here. So if I go over here, because I don't really need the full path, so I have it unchecked here. See how it says show full path, show full file path for loaded train. If you click it, then you get the full path that listed there. But I don't really need that, so I have it unchecked. Then over here you can click on description. And then you can change, you got built with order builder. I think you can delete that out of here if you don't want it in there. But it'll automatically it says it'll automatically append built using external consist editor info. So it might still show up, but I'm not sure. We'll have to try one. But I could just type in like test train for demo purposes, and then that'll save in there. And when you open it and run it, you'll see that. So I could hit save. So then we've got our consist modifiers. And it says the leftmost text will indicate if all cars or selected cars will be modified. Locomotives in the train consist will be unaffected. To deselect all rail vehicles in the train consist, press the escape key. So hit escape. So we got nothing. Oh yeah, see how it says all cars here? Oh, okay. I didn't notice that before. So if I select just these, it says selected cars. And then I can make them all loaded, or I can empty them, or a random load empty, random reverse, random shuffle. And it's only doing the ones I selected, and it's letting you know that because it has selected cars there. And then now if I hit escape, it says all cars. So now if I do load, you can see there it loads every car because I didn't have any selected, or empties every car there. Then we've got an undo and a redo, but as you can see here, they're grayed out, so I can't undo or redo everything I just did. I'm sure he's going to be adding some more functionality there, but right now it says undos or redos adding, removing, or moving rail vehicles in the consist. So I think it will only work like if I drag this one here. Yeah, see how it says undo? And then I can click it, it puts it back up there. Or if I chose those three, I can undo Oh, did that work? Maybe that didn't work. Let's see. If I go 84 lumber up to here, and then I hit undo. Oh, there might be something wrong there. Undo again. Yeah, it just moved one down. So that might still need some work. Oh, now it's up. Now it's up there. Let's see if I move it back down here. Maybe I got to hit escape or click away. Let's see, hit undo. Oh, it's doing one at a time. Oh, okay. I see. It's not going to undo or redo that block move. It's just going to undo or redo each individual. I see. Okay. So it looks like it is working. You just got to be aware that it's... I keep hovering over hazmat. So if I hover over hazmat, maybe I wonder if that's supposed to happen. There's a nice feature here where, like, so if I hover over this car, see how it grays out, kind of darkens the rest of the screen, so it kind of highlights this pop-up, and then so there's less distraction when you're looking at the pop-up. And it does that, I've noticed, for several things, but I don't know if, like, if I click hazmat here, yeah, that probably is not supposed to do that. Where, like, if I just highlight over here, leave my mouse there, see how it darkens the screen? I think that's probably not supposed to happen, but not a big deal. So let's take a look at the train consist settings. And we got that over here. So we've got and these settings are going to save automatically the next time you reopen ECE 10. So if you change any of these settings to your liking and then close the program and then reopen it, it'll be the way you left it, which is nice. So first we got the type column, which we looked at before, which I can change, and then you get changes what is displayed here under type. And I like to leave it just at that. Then we've got the weight calculations. We looked at that already, how it's going to calculate isolated locomotives. Over here we've got the show full file path. We looked at that already. Then we got remember last used region, and that'll automatically use whatever you had last, so leave that checked. Auto select region on file open, and that's going to select the region based on the path, so let's leave that checked. Auto load most recent train file on startup. That one I'm going to leave unchecked, but there's another one here, auto load saved run 8 train. This one I've got to try, because this would be nice when I could save a train as ECE auto load inside of run 8, and then when I open up the consist editor to modify it, as soon as I open this, it should already have that train loaded. So I got to test that out. Show train consist effects. I'm leaving that unchecked. If you check it, then it's going to give you some animations here. Like if I select these and I right click to change the direction, see how they kind of turn orange and do like a little flash there, and now they're reversed. Whereas if I have this unchecked and I right click, it just the arrow changes. So it's a little bit cleaner, a little less distraction. I kind of like it this way versus like if I want to just delete this one center beam and I hit delete, it's just gone. Whereas if I go to turn this on and I want to delete this one, then you get that animation. Now it's gone. So it's a little faster without it. I don't know. Maybe I'll try it in the future again, but I kind of like it with it off. So you could actually isolate locomotives on load based on the tag. So if you saved a train and locomotives were isolated, or if locomotives in run 8 were tagged, or even in your file here. So down here, see how this is grayed out? But if I put ISO, for example, for isolation or isolated, now I could do isolate locos on load. And what that'll do is if I tagged specific locomotives with this keyword ISO when saving a train, when I open that train file again in ECE 10, they will automatically be isolated. So I don't have to go in and hold Alt and double click them to isolate them. It'll just do it automatically for you. And then you've got your show rear weight line, show rear 33% weight line, show rear 25% length line, and then show red line if rear 33% weight exceeds rear 25% length. So that's for building a train if you want to see, because there's certain rules. Like here it says in the instructions, most railroad rules prohibit more than 33% of the weight of the train to be beyond the rear 25% of train length. So now if we wanted to save this train, before we do, we have to make sure, it says to double check that the region is properly set for the region you're building the train for. So we got SoCal here. We don't want it to say A-line and then save it, because this is for SoCal. So we want to make sure that it's on SoCal. And then if we want a description, you can click description and make sure. You don't need to have anything here. We can just delete this and save it just fine. But if you wanted one, make sure you got that. Then if we go to, I'm going to go save as, because I don't want to overwrite this current file. So I'm going to go to, I'll just type in delete, and then you get the train successfully saved confirmation. Oh yeah, there it is. So if you look right here, it says ECE most recent train file. So it's automatically, even though I saved my file as delete, which is now down here, it also saved a version as ECE most recent. And if I double click it, here it is. It's the same file. And that way, when you're in Run 8 and you go to load a train, you can just go to ECE most recent. And it'll be, if you want that one you just did, it should be right at the top of your train list, even though you also saved it as maybe a Barstow to Bakersfield, and it's going to be way down in your list. But if you wanted to find it quickly, it's just a nice handy way to find that file real quickly it'll be at the top under the file name ECE most recent. So I got the consist cleared out, and I just want to try another feature. It says that you can click on trains. You can drag the file directly in here and drop it too, instead of going file open, just another way. So if I go with this one, drag it here, there you go, look at that. I could just drag that train XML file right on to the consist editor, and it brings it in. And that's the same thing as if I just went file open, double clicked it here. It does the same thing, but just another option for you. Now in Run 8, I can just hit F1, click my train tab, and ECE most recent. On your screen, it's probably going to be at the top up here, but because I had already saved these files with more underscores, it's putting those above it. But you typically won't have all this, so you're going to see this ECE most recent would be way up at the top. And that's the one we just did. And then it's also down here. So when I did save as, I saved it as delete. And it also did this one. These are both the same exact train. And this one tells you here, this is the most recent train saved using ECE. It gives you the time and date that you did it. And this file will continue to be overridden every time you save a new train in the consist editor. And then it just gives you your breakdown here and your details. Let's see, oh no, I deleted the description. So if I had left what I typed in description, that would show up here at the top. But I had deleted it, so it's not in there. So if I do this here and I just go to load into consist editor, there it is, and then I can just do place train, and there we go. There's the train that we just did.